Hello, brains! Yes, this is another video about self-care, and the videos will continue until morale improves. For this video, I wanted to talk about how to make self-care easier, because a lot of what is considered basic self-care, feeding yourself, drinking water, sleeping, that's not so basic for us, for those with ADHD. It's something that I have struggled with a lot over the course of my life. Taking care of my physical needs has been really tough for me. And then I became a mom, and then it was impossible. I learned a lot of hacks as a new mom that, by the way, are also incredible if you happen to have ADHD. Whether or not you have a baby, these hacks are fantastic because let's be real, when you have a baby, people basically assume you have ADHD. They assume you're going to be emotionally dysregulated. They assume you haven't slept. They assume you have no time or resources, right? They assume that the demand on your executive function is going to overwhelm your ability to cope. And that is what's true for people with ADHD a lot of the time. And so the things that I feel like worked for me really well that were recommended to me as a new parent with ADHD also worked for me as a human with ADHD. I talked about the lies that I believed about self-care and what I understand instead. I did a video about a lot of mental and emotional self-care hacks that I learned. This one is going to largely be about the practical how to care for body self-care. If you're not sure where to start, which I saw in some of the comments on the last video, I don't even know where to start with self-care. One of the coolest tips that I learned was something called raising little you. Imagine yourself as your own small child. How would you raise little you to grow up to be a healthy adult? Make a list of all the things that little you would need: food, water, shelter, play, sunshine, learning boundaries. And then after you have this list, check off all the things that you already do for big you. And then see what's left. What's missing from little you's life? Is it playtime? Reminders to brush your teeth and tuck into bed on time? A comforting reminder that you'll be all right when you're sad? What is it that little you needs that big you isn't getting? Water yourself. I remember reading at one point that whatever's wrong, water can fix it. Thirsty, drink water. Stressed, go stand and look at a body of water. Are you dirty? Shower. Are you about to have a panic attack? Take a baggie of cold water and put it on your face, and it activates the diver's reflex. Water is amazing. Lots of us forget to drink water or don't drink enough water. I got real good at figuring out how to get water in my body. Not that it was perfect. I feel like I need water right now. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. In particular, drinking water was really important to me as a nursing mom. I felt like I had to drink a lake a day, and so I got really good at figuring out how to get water in me. I had a Brita thing in my fridge. A lot of the time that ran out of water, and I didn't have the ability to fill it up again at that moment. I told my partner, I want a water dispenser, and that made a huge difference. Also, big reusable water bottles is really helpful. I feel like water bottles are like pens. Everybody's got their favorite one they're swear by. You can take a water bottle and bring it with you everywhere throughout the day and then just wash it at the end of the day, or after a couple of days. Or you can take a water bottle and leave it in areas where you know you're going to be. So if I'm going to collapse and be exhausted at the end of the day on my couch, maybe I just keep a water bottle there. And then I also have my water bottle that I bring with me to work. Someone had something really clever. They put a Tamagotchi on their water bottle so that when it beeped, they took care of their Tamagotchi. And that reminded them to drink water. So yeah, I guess with water, you need reminders too. I like water. Not everybody likes water, but even if you do like water, at some point, you're drinking so much of it that you are bored of it. So finding ways to get water that aren't plain boring water. Different temperature of water. Cold water works really well. Or sometimes I would just heat up water and drink it hot. And somehow that made it interesting enough that I was willing to drink it. Making herbal tea is a great way of doing it. Adding flavorings, adding electrolytes, making it fizzy. My partner does not like flat water. He uses a soda stream and makes it fizzy and sometimes adds flavoring. But also, you don't have to drink water to get water in you. There are things that have water in it that you can consume that. So I really like watermelon. Watermelon is a great way to get water. Skim milk has more water in it, or you can water down juices. There's just a lot of ways to get your water intake that aren't just, let me drink plain boring water. Move your body. We already know the benefits of exercise on ADHD and physical health. It also helps mental health. It also was really important to me as a new mom to still have some sort of exercise routine, but it was really tough to do. So what I had to do, and what I think is really helpful, is to let go of any preconceived notions of like what exercise is supposed to look like. Oh, like I have to wear these exercise clothes and I have to go to the gym or I have to do it for this amount of time. All of that went out the window when I had a baby. Like there was no going to the gym. There was no like changing into exercise clothes. There was no, oh yeah, I'm going to exercise for an hour. Like when? Are you kidding me? No. Like I will exercise for 5 minutes while my daughter is doing tummy time. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to do it in my pajamas. That's what it turned into. But because I was able to be a little bit more flexible about how I considered exercise, I was able to keep up the habit. I was able to keep doing it. I think we all go through times in our life where like a full hour of exercise on a regular basis is just not happening. And so we don't do it, right? It's like, oh, either I have 2 hours to go to the gym, work out for an hour, shower, and come back, or I'm not exercising. But then you're out of the habit. And so what I did was I stayed in the habit of doing it by doing what I could. I also, at some point, went, I want a little bit more than that, but like I am taking care of a tiny baby. So I thought about like when I am able to get more exercise, and it was in things like baby wearing dance class. I went to baby wearing dance class for an hour every Friday. The trainer that I was working with through TrainWell, through that app, started designing workouts for me where I could wear the baby while doing my workout. And that was really helpful because I got the exercise that I needed and my daughter got a nap is what happened. So I think you can get creative with exercise, but also just thinking a little bit outside the exercise box and thinking more toward just movement, moving your body, because the more we move our bodies, like that adds up too. I went to the zoo yesterday and it didn't occur to me until my feet hurt that night that I did a lot of walking because I was busy looking at the animals and checking out the gift shop. I didn't consider that exercise, but I did get a lot of movement in. I did get a lot of exercise. It just wasn't exercise, right? Make it fun. The best type of exercise is the kind you will do. By the way, one of the things that can get in the way of self-care is feeling like you have too much to do to practice it. Sansama is one of the things that I use to help me with that. One of the areas of my life where I find it hardest to practice self-care is when I'm at work because I'm working and I just have a long history of kind of sacrificing my well-being because I want to do a good job. So I will work through lunch. I will work late. I have burned out before working on this channel, but not since I started using Sansama. Sansama is designed to help ADHD professionals plan and pace their work so that they don't burn out. It's been very helpful for me because it guides you through planning your day, planning your week, and makes some helpful suggestions like, when do you want to stop working? This seems like an unrealistic workload. Maybe can you bump anything back? Things that I don't always think about. I think one of my favorite features right now I showed in the Lies About Self-Care video. You guys wanted to know what app that was? It's Sansama. I created a getting to work routine checklist where I can check off get water or tea, set alarm for lunch, restock my snacks so that I can be set up to take care of myself while I work. I think one of the most helpful things for me as somebody with ADHD is that you can put in how long you think a task is going to take. And then when you go to work on that task, you can hit F for focus. All of your other tasks will go away, so you don't have to think about them right now, and you can just focus on that one. So it not only helps me plan a more realistic work week for myself this week, it also makes it so that I have a better idea of how to plan a realistic work week for myself 2 weeks from now and 3 weeks from now and in the future. I love working with Sansama, and I also deeply appreciate that they are very ADHD friendly. You can get a 30-day trial with no credit card required up front, so you have time to see if you like it. If you want to check it out, it's sansama.com/a/Jessica from How to ADHD. I'll also put that in the description below. Let me know what you think. And now back to more self-care tips. Feed yourself. So feeding yourself is a whole thing, but as a new mom, I relied a lot on one-handed snacks, which I still am huge on now because you know why they're helpful? One-handed snacks are helpful because you can eat while doing something else. People would bring me dinner and it was very well-meaning. It was very thoughtful, but I could not eat with a knife and fork because I needed one hand to be holding a baby. So one-handed snacks, things that were really, really easy to eat one-handed, were everything. And I've found that that's really helpful just as somebody with ADHD because it means I can also eat while walking my dog. It means I can also eat while doing a lot of things. One-handed snacks, that is where it's at. Also simplifying meals as much as possible. The fewer ingredients you have to go to the store for, the better. The fewer pots and pans you use, the better. So one-pan meals, Instapot meals, batch cooking. Batch cooking is something that always kind of intimidated me because I'm like, you want me to cook, but like more of it? That sounds like a lot of work. I did not have the energy for that really as a new mom. But as I healed up and I got more confident and I started learning how to cook with my partner's dad, who was teaching me how to cook, I talked about that in another video. We started batch cooking. We would make meals together, and then he would take half and I would take home half, and then I would be able to feed myself and my family for a few days off of this one session of cooking. If I had to cook every day, I would not be able to work. So batch cooking was really helpful for me. And also just know that feeding yourself does not have to mean cooking. I've always been more of a grazer than a sit down and eat a big meal kind of person. And I thought there was something wrong with that. And I went to Hannah Hart, a friend of mine who's also a YouTuber, who did My Drunk Kitchen. And I went to her and I was like, can you teach me how to feed myself? She's like, sure, come on my show. And she taught me that I do not need to cook in order to feed myself. You can check out that video here. Snacking counts. That is also feeding yourself. You don't have to cook yourself a gourmet meal to count as being able to feed yourself. Really easy, healthy meal ideas. Smashed avocado on toast, super easy. Baked potatoes, frozen fruit for smoothies, grab and go trail mix. Just the easier you can make it to feed yourself, the better. If your appetite is suppressed, consuming food in liquid forms can be really helpful. So like smoothies, milkshakes. Sometimes you just need calories. You just get the calories in you. And set reminders to eat. And the number of times that my partner was like, not okay and was having emotional meltdowns and then realized he hadn't eaten anything in 10 hours. It's just become a go-to. Like, when's the last time you ate? Like, you're not doing okay. The world is awful right now. Everything's terrible. Have you eaten, like, at all in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, no, 10 hours? Okay, cool. Yeah, you should eat something. Setting reminders to eat is really, really important. In various online communities, we found that apps like Noom or MyFitnessPal, setting reminders to eat through that. This community really likes Finch. I also use Finch. My team uses Finch. It's a super cute app for self-care reminders in general. Knowing that taking care of yourself means you're also taking care of this adorable little animal is very motivating. Ask for help. Asking for help is absolutely a form of self-care. We can't do it all ourselves. Nobody can. We don't want to be codependent, but being effectively interdependent is really important. When I was pregnant, I made a list of everyone who offered to help, and I asked if they meant it. So if they meant it, I would add them to a list along with what type of help they said that they could provide. And that way, when I needed that type of help, I knew who I could go to. That was actually inspired by something that I learned at an ADHD conference, which is to make a list of the people who can support you in the different ways that you need support, and to put your go-to person, your partner, your mom, whoever it is, put that person last. And you do that for 2 reasons. One is so that you can start to build up your support network, because no one person can meet all of our needs. We need support systems. We need support networks. And you want to build those up. Those with ADHD tend to lean really, really heavily on 1 or 2 close people and not have as much support outside of that other than paid support, which is fine, right? Outsourcing services is also totally valid as a form of self-care, like getting meal delivery services and hiring housekeepers, all of those things. Great. But like most of us need more than that or can't afford that, right? Like we need to build up our support systems. We need to build up our support networks. And so by making a list of the people that we can turn to for support and putting our go-to people way at the bottom of that list, that helps us to build up our support systems. But it has a second advantage too, which is now your go-to person is going to have potentially more capacity to help you when you really need them, because you haven't gone to them for all of the other things. One thing that I learned about asking for help that I will leave you with, just a little trick, is this. You can apply SMART goals. You can apply that same acronym to asking for help. So ask for help in a way that is specific, meaningful. This is why I need the help. Action-oriented. You want to ask for people to do things that are doable for them. Realistic and time-bound. I have found that time-bound is especially important, because if you ask for help and that person is like, cool, yeah, I can do that, but then you're waiting for like a week and you kind of needed that help like today, that doesn't go as well. So ask for help in a way that is time-bound. Let people know what you need help with and when you need that help by. Rest. Rest does not look the same for us as it does for neurotypical people. I used to think I was really bad at resting, not only because I wasn't being encouraged to do it, but because even when I went to rest, I felt like I was doing it wrong. So I'm bad at this, but I'm good at working. So like, I'm going to go do that instead. I wasn't doing it wrong. It's just what is rest to me is different from what it might be for a neurotypical person. For ADHD brains, I think a lot of the time what rest is taking a break from self-regulation. So if I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to rest, so I have to do this activity that is restful, that's still me asking my brain to focus on something and to force myself to do something that is maybe not what it feels like doing at the moment, which is not very different from what I have to do at work during the day. Instead, when I rest, I try to give myself a break from self-regulation. And so that means like I might be working on a project. I might be cleaning my kitchen. And that's restful for me at that moment because it's what I feel like doing. It's what my brain feels like doing. I let my brain wander. I let my brain do what it wants to do. I let my body do what it wants to do. Instead of trying to sit still or trying to conform, I'm just like, okay, I feel like stretching or I feel like lounging or I feel like sitting on the table, like whatever it is. Like rest for me is taking a break from trying to behave in a certain way, trying to accomplish a certain goal, and just letting my brain be, letting my body be. Rest, by the way, doesn't mean doing nothing. It means getting a break from the thing you're supposed to be doing. That is what rest is. I now understand, like, I am a better version of myself when I have rested. I do a better job at work and in my relationships when I've rested. I've been doing better about going, hey, you know what? My meetings were canceled this afternoon. This is actually a really good opportunity for me to take a mental health day. It won't impact too much. And that will keep me in good shape so that I don't have to take an I'm falling apart level of mental health day on a really inconvenient day. Taking a mental health day on the days when it is convenient can make it so that I don't have to take a mental health day on the days when it wouldn't be. Ways of resting: letting your mind wander, staring at the wall, laying on the floor, taking a meds break. I think there are times when I have a really hard time not working, especially when I know that there's a lot to do. And so one thing that I'll do intentionally that I've also heard from people in this community is to take a meds break so that we don't feel as motivated to do things and can just kind of veg out and let ourselves chill. And we don't have a brain and body that's like, let's go, time to be productive. And green time. Green time is a really great way to rest your brain. It gives you a break from that kind of effortful focus of like trying to direct your attention to doing any particular thing. When you're out in green time, when you're walking around in nature, or even when you're just staring at a plant in your office, there's an effortless fascination about it. It pulls your attention. You're not having to like force yourself to focus on something. It just naturally draws your attention to the play of light on the leaves or the different shapes or the different colors in nature. It draws your attention, which gives your brain a break. One of the most effective strategies in preventing burnout is time away from the stressor. So just giving yourself a break from whatever it is that you're doing that is stressing you out. That's also rest. We have this constant input from our environments, from social media. Sorry. we have all of this input coming at our faces all the time. Giving ourselves a break from that like constant barrage of input and the constant demand on our time and attention and energy like we can in nature, I think is really powerful. Clean your teeth. I put it this way because brushing your teeth has a lot of like a wall of awful around it for a lot of us with ADHD. Like brush your teeth, brush your teeth. You're not brushing your teeth. Did you brush your teeth? I think there's a lot of shame for a lot of us with ADHD from like not brushing our teeth or not brushing our teeth as long as we're supposed to or when we're supposed to or where we're supposed to. It was a bit of a reframe for me to think about cleaning your teeth. There's actually a lot of ways to do that. And I learned that as a new mom because brushing my infant's teeth wasn't a very easy task. So there were other ways to clean her teeth once she started getting teeth. Involved like a wet washcloth or even something as simple as making sure that the last thing that she drinks at night is water, not milk. That was also helpful. So now I'm like, oh, the last thing I drink at night should be water, not something else. Getting like a water pick was really helpful in terms of like floss. And even when I was brushing my teeth, thinking in terms of what the goal was, which is to clean my teeth, I felt like was really helpful because otherwise brush my teeth, sounds boring. I'm going to go brush my teeth. I did it. I brushed my teeth. Are my teeth clean? No, they are not. So like going, I need to clean my teeth. I can use a toothbrush. I can use my water pick. There's a lot of ways to clean my teeth, but the goal is to clean my teeth. Oh, there's also more tips in this video. I've definitely done a video about this. Yep, there you go. Sleep outside the box. Sleep is really important. Sleeping in a very neurotypical way is less important, frankly. But we also have a video about sleep strategies that you can check out in this video. Very excited about it. Super cool. I was a sleep fairy. Have fun. Sleep is another one that we think we have an idea of like how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to sleep in bed. You're supposed to sleep, if you have a partner, in bed with your partner. You're supposed to sleep at night. Like, not necessarily. Like, as a new mom, really quickly we found out that we needed to sleep in separate spaces if we were going to get any sleep. Also, as a new mom, I would be up at like 4 a.m. staring at my tiny daughter's face going, this is the most amazing, precious thing in the world. Like after everybody went to bed, like that was my time to like just spend some time with her and stare at her face without anybody else wanting to hold her or trying to do something for me or do something for her. And it was quiet, it was peaceful. And I think that's true for a lot of people with ADHD. It's like at night, there's like this magic that happens where nobody's trying to call you, nobody's trying to get your attention, nobody needs anything from you, and you kind of get this space for yourself. And I told a new mom friend that this is what was happening because I was very clearly not sleeping enough. I confessed to her that like sometimes it wasn't that I couldn't sleep, it's that I didn't want to. I expected her to be like, well, you have to sleep and it's better for your baby if you like. I expected a lecture. And instead she was like, yeah, you can stay up all night staring at your baby's face. Go for it. But that means you have to sleep during the day. And I was like, what? Like, that's a thing that you can do? Like, it just didn't occur to me, I guess, that like you could sleep at other times. And so I tried to do that, but I was on my meds and that was hard. But I finally found this sweet spot, like at 4 p.m. It was my meds had worn off enough, but it wasn't so close to bedtime that I wouldn't be able to sleep that night. And I was able to get a contact nap in. I was able to sleep for like an hour. And me sleeping in a separate bed from my partner made a huge difference for me. I think if we are trying to get sleep in the way that we're supposed to or where we're supposed to or whatever, like we can miss out on the opportunity to figure out how to get sleep in a way that actually works for us. I'm going to practice some self-care and be done with this episode. I hope that you found some strategies that were helpful for you. Please leave stuff in the comments below if you have strategies that you think that I missed. This is my last video in this particular series, or maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about self-care. Yeah. The videos about self-care will continue until morale improves. Thank you to my brain advocates and all my Patreon brains for supporting the work that we do on this channel. Like, subscribe, click all the things, and we will see you next video. Bye, brains.